From Delaware's most award-winning radio news team, this is WDEL Video News. Here's Chris Carl.
Among Delaware's top stories for Wednesday, November 7th, Christina voters approve a school tax hike, change to the way Wilmington calculates its wage tax, and new housing rises from the ashes. Here are the details. Christina School District residents have agreed to a tax hike to pay for school construction. WDEL's Erica Guidetti reports.
Option A, the community consensus plan, was chosen by the Christina School District with 78% of the votes. Superintendent Dr. Lillian Lowry felt the referendum would pass because of the vast amount of community support.
And the reason we felt good about it because the community has been with us every step of the way, and we had some support from all the politicians from the State House to the local jurisdictions to our teachers in our classrooms. So we felt good about it, but we planning for if it didn't pass, we had the plan B ready just in case.
She also says this vote means the community is starting to have more faith in the school district.
Tonight means that the Christina School District has spoken and that they have said that they believe in our school district and they are willing to put their votes where their beliefs are and help us on a positive path forward. We are very excited about the referendum and that the referendum passed, but more exciting is that this community is starting to come back and have a little faith in this district and that we can get the job done, and we're very pleased about that.
The referendum will help eliminate I-95 commuting and build a new elementary school in Bear and convert Bayard Intermediate in Wilmington into a middle school. Option A also provides more money for construction costs. Reporting from Newark, I'm Erica Guidetti, 1150 AM, WDEL.
The city of Wilmington is changing the way it calculates the amount of unpaid wage taxes. City Communications Director John Rago tells WDEL that wage tax balances will no longer be calculated using 2004 state tax records to determine the amount owed by anyone who lived or worked in the city from 2000 to 2006. Speakers at last week's city council meeting complained about past due notices they got from the city, part of a crackdown on delinquent payers. Rago advises anyone who gets a notice to call the city to discuss the matter, in part to determine if the past due amount on the notice is accurate. Officials with Blue Water Wind say they'll drop provisions that led the staff of the Public Service Commission to say the company's proposal for a wind farm was too expensive. Last week, PSC staffers issued an opinion saying built-in increases in Blue Water's most recent terms could have driven the costs up almost $60 a month, more than originally thought. The company now says they'll remove the escalators altogether, bringing electricity produced by its proposed wind farm off the coast of Rehoboth to within 53 cents of its original proposal. Coming up, 2 county cops talk a teen out of suicide. WDEL News continues in a moment.
As you look for your college experience, make sure you look at Wilmington College, your key to success.
A patient advocacy group has given a Delaware Psychiatric Center Task Force subcommittee a list of recommendations for improvements at the WDEL facility. The disability law program's recommendations include cameras in seclusion rooms and stronger patient-resistant laws, formalizing a mortality-morbidity review committee, contracting with an independent firm to monitor patient care, and giving DLP staffers copies of documents connected with investigations of patient abuse or neglect. The task force is due to present its final recommendations to Governor Minner no later than December 15th. A 16-year-old boy is alive thanks to the recently acquired negotiation skills of 2 county police officers. Officers responded to a domestic dispute call Monday night to learn from the boy's parents that the boy suffers from a mental illness, had armed himself with a large kitchen knife, and barricaded himself in a small room. Police say the boy was upset and refused to drop the knife, motioning several times as if he were about to cut himself. The officers were able to calm the boy, who put down the knife and surrendered after almost 2 hours of negotiations. 2 University of Delaware professors have joined the likes of Mother Teresa, Nelson Mandela, and Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. WDEL's Carl Konevsky reports.
When most people think of the University of Delaware, they may picture a beautiful campus or the Fighting Blue Hens football team, but now they can think of Nobel Prize winners. Geography professor Fritz Nelson and Dr. John Byrne, director of the Center for Energy and Environmental Policy, both have new titles to add to their resumes: Nobel laureate. The two were part of working groups of the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change, which, along with former Vice President Al Gore, won the 2007 Nobel Prize for Peace. Nelson says some may not think the study of climate change and global warming would qualify for the Peace Prize, but he sees it differently.
I think it is one of the greatest potential problems that is facing humankind. Melting glaciers, increase in sea level. As you all know, populations are concentrated in coastal areas. Many of these things we can build our way out of the problems, but it's going to be tremendously expensive.
Byrne says while the IPCC assesses scientific data and advises the United Nations, Delawareans can do their own part to slow the tide of global warming with common sense conservation.
I would urge our citizens and businesses in the state and throughout the country to take a practical view about this. Do the good things that make sense for your families and for your bottom line that also can be very helpful to our planet.
The men say while we can each do our part, the greater impact of the work of the IPCC will be on policymakers who must recognize the need for action. I'm Carl Konevsky, 1150 AM, WDEL.
A $205 million expansion is being planned for Wilmington Hospital. Plans call for a new medical office building and a 9-story tower. The project will double the size of the emergency room and replace the 10 aging operating room suites with 13 new ones. The tower will have the room to add up to 90 additional beds. The construction project will take about 5 years, and the hospital expects to add as many as 600 new jobs. A date's been set for a special election to fill the 28th district seat left vacant by the election of Bruce Ennis to the Senate. Voters will cast ballots Saturday, December 8th. Ennis was elected to the Senate last Saturday to fill the unexpired term of the late Senator Jim Vaughn, who resigned in September due to poor health and died just days later. Kent County Republican Chairman John Davis says his party's candidate for the vacant House seat is Smyrna School Board member Christine Malik. The scene of a spectacular fire last year in Wilmington is reborn as affordable housing. WDEL's Lee St. John has that story.
Families are already moving in at Speakman Place, the townhouse community that now occupies the East 30th Street plot of land that, until last December, was home to the Speakman Company. The building was destroyed by fire less than a year ago, clearing the way, literally, for the new community. A dozen units are completed, another dozen or so under construction. When things are finally built out, 71 units will make up the Speakman Place community.
2 Phillies have new hardware for their trophy cases. WDEL Sports and your Delaware AccuWeather forecast coming up.
I'm Peter MacArthur.
I'm Melanie Armstrong, and here are Delaware's top stories at the top of the hour.
The most complete coverage of the news that matters in Delaware. Every weekday morning, 5:30 till 9 on 1150 AM WDEL.
In WDEL Sports, Philly shortstop Jimmy Rollins and center fielder Aaron Rowan have been named the top defensive players in the National League at their positions. Both players won Gold Glove awards for the first time in their careers. Delaware State kicker Peter Gartner has earned his 3rd straight MEAC Special Teams Player of the Week honors. Gartner, the Hornets senior from Germany, nailed a 37-yard game-winning field goal as time expired in Del State's 23-20 victory at Winston-Salem. Last Saturday, it was Gartner's 3rd field goal of the game. The week before, he kicked the game-winning field goal in the final seconds of a win at South Carolina State. The 8-1 Hornets host Norfolk State on Saturday, and a win could earn them the MEAC title and a berth in the 1AA postseason playoffs. Your WDEL Delaware AccuWeather forecast: sun and clouds mixed through today, a high 52. Tonight, clear to partly cloudy, a low down to 27. And for tomorrow, sunshine with increasing clouds and a high of 50. Get news updates throughout the day, Delaware's top stories at the top of the hour on 1150 AM, and get WDEL News text alerts sent right to your cell phone. Sign up right here at WDEL.com. I'm Chris Carl. Thanks for watching.